Video showing officers punching a homeless man during an arrest now calls for change. The information activists are calling for that they say could help prevent potential excessive force in the future. The CDC easing mask guidelines as more Americans get vaccinated. How California, which still has a mask mandate in effect, could be impacted. And getting a new look at a massive overhaul plan for the Naval site in Old Town. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Virginia Cha. My co-anchor Jim Patton is here as well as Megan Perry, and we're going to hear from them in just a moment. Now let's get to that big update from the CDC changing mask recommendations. They say Americans who are fully vaccinated can safely gather indoors and outdoors without masks, but with some exceptions. Meanwhile, California's mask mandate still in place. We're going to have more on that in just a moment. But first, ABC's Rena Roy tells us about the update on the national level.
A major breakthrough in the fight against COVID-19.
I feel like a sense of freedom right now.
I've already planned a mask burning party.
The CDC saying the more than 118 million Americans who are fully vaccinated can ditch their masks and stop social distancing in most cases.
I can breathe again.
I think that's fantastic. I think that's what everyone was waiting to hear.
More than a third of the U.S. population able to show off their smiles again, over 400 days after federal health officials first recommended masking up.
It's a great milestone, a great day. It's been made possible by the extraordinary success we've had in vaccinating so many Americans so quickly.
President Biden and Vice President Harris in the Rose Garden, both maskless and in close contact. On Capitol Hill, some senators happily taking off their masks upon hearing the news. But there are exceptions, the CDC saying everyone should still wear masks in hospitals, on buses, trains, planes, and if required by a state, county, tribe, employer, or business. CVS says it's reevaluating its current mask mandate, but Kroger and Home Depot have no plans to lift theirs for now. A number of states, including Massachusetts, also keeping their policies in place.
This country is not homogeneous. It's not uniform. There are some areas in this country that still have more disease than others.
As for schools, officials are hoping to have kids back in person full-time come fall, and one of the nation's largest teachers' unions is planning to follow the new guidance.
You have to make sure everybody's vaccinated, and you also have to make sure everybody's comfortable with it.
And the CDC says this decision was based on science, with cases going down in most of the country largely because of vaccinations. Officials do say unvaccinated people should still be wearing masks, including children, particularly when inside. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Now, the CDC is stressing that theirs is a recommendation which doesn't override state and local mandates. California is planning on keeping this state's mask mandate until mid-June. So masks are still required when you go into a grocery store, for example. In San Diego, Sharp Healthcare wants to remind patients and visitors that they are still requiring masks inside their facilities. The governor's office tweeted last night they are reviewing the CDC's recommendations before making any changes. Jim?
Virginia, meanwhile, today, the governor submitting his proposed budget to the state legislature. He's been detailing some of the biggest aspects all week. His office looking to use a $75 billion surplus. And Newsom has outlined plans to send $600 stimulus checks to more Californians, build housing for the homeless, and help pay for early education for kids. The budget going to the legislature now, where it will be debated before it is finalized. Well, a massive development project on Navy land is taking a big step forward, and they want to hear from you. The Naval project aims to tear down decades-old buildings just north of the airport and build brand new state-of-the-art facilities with possible transit centers and housing. And that's where we find ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti with a live look at some of the different options on the table now. Leah.
These Navy buildings behind me have been here since World War II, and the Navy says it's time for an upgrade. Today they released 5 different renderings complete with different possibilities for what to put here, along with the environmental impact statements for all of the ideas. The Navy says they do have a favored option, which would bring 10,000 condo homes, 2 hotels, and 2 million square feet of commercial space, in addition to a new NAVWAR facility for the Navy. For them, this is a win-win.
This is an incredible opportunity for the Navy and the community to work together to not only provide Sandag the modernized state-of-the-art facility that it needs, but also do something positive for the city of San Diego.
Now that these ideas are released, there will be 60 days for the public to provide feedback and comments on these ideas. The Navy says they then hope to make a decision on which route to go by the end of this year. Reporting live, Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Leah. Well, this morning, a man was hit and killed while walking on the 5 North. Police say the man was walking in the traffic lanes about 3 o'clock this morning in Chula Vista. He has not been identified. The driver of the car that hit him stayed and cooperated with police. Authorities are doing a toxicology report on the victim to see if he might have been under the influence at the time of the incident. 2 families had to flee from their homes early this morning after this fire erupted in Lemon Grove. Those families did get out safely. Firefighters tell us that fire started with a truck on a driveway before spreading to both nearby homes. It took crews about 30 minutes to put out that fire. Investigators are looking into what started it. And then not too long after that, this fire erupting in El Cajon. I mean, it became an inferno that engulfed 2 homes, both abandoned, so they were not occupied. Our 10 News Breaking News Tracker was first on that scene and saw crews climbing hundreds of feet up a nearby hillside just to get to this blaze before trucks could figure out how to approach it because it wasn't easy to find. They had to knock that down. It took about an hour in trying to figure out what sparked it.
Well, happening today, President Biden will meet with 6 Dreamers as he continues his fight for immigration reform. Dreamers are all immigrants brought to this country illegally as children, and they've been benefited from the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program started by President Obama. Former President Trump tried to phase out the program. President Biden made protecting DACA a priority during his campaign. The Dreamers meeting with the president today are now healthcare workers and farm workers who have worked throughout the pandemic. Well, dozens of San Diegans taking part in a protest against Sempra Energy and SDG&E today. Members of the San Diego Green New Deal Alliance protesting the utilities for what they describe as anti-climate practices. This includes what the alliance calls their efforts to, quote, expand the extraction, consumption, and global export of fracked gas, all while undercutting renewable energy policies and investments. Protests took place during the meeting of Sempra Energy shareholders.
That they are continuing to build natural gas infrastructure, so build fossil fuel infrastructure in the face of a climate emergency.
And that protest taking place at Sempra Energy headquarters on 8th Avenue this morning. Well, new today, we're getting a look at a massive pot bust in the East County. Check out these photos here showing row upon row of marijuana seized as part of an illegal grow on Orange Avenue in Ramona. Sheriff's Department seized more than 4,000 live marijuana plants worth more than $3 million. They arrested 5 men at that scene who are now facing felony charges.
Stop! Just days after this video surfaced of San Diego police officers taking down a homeless man in La Jolla, local leaders are calling for change. This video recorded by a witness shows the man being punched a number of times while on the ground. ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes joins us live from La Jolla. Natay, that group is calling for police to release the body camera footage.
Yeah, Virginia, in that short clip that we just saw moments ago, that video was recorded by a woman actually driving. She was a witness. She was driving through this intersection where we're standing right now. You can see behind me local activists still speaking this morning. They are actually standing next to the man who was taken down on Wednesday morning. His name is Jesse Evans. Now, local activists say that they want full transparency. The video release doesn't show what led up to the moments before Evans was taken down by police, which is why they are calling for police to release that body cam footage.
What are you doing? Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Now, the San Diego police says that they approached the man because he was urinating in public. Now, you can hear an exchange between officers and the man on the ground. The officers telling him to stop resisting. Now, that man is Evans, and he appears to be saying that he needs to use the restroom in the video. Now, further into the video, you see punches thrown by officers again as they continue to restrain him. Now, the officers are seen throwing more punches as other police arrive on scene. Now, we do have some sound from Shane Harris, who was actually set up this press conference this morning. Let's roll that. Okay, well, we don't have that sound. We'll try to get that to you later. But the People's Association of Justice Advocates says that they reached out to the mayor's office and says San Diego police, and they say they requested, police from the requested information from the San Diego Police Department about their use of force across the entire department. SDPD says that there have been 4 members in the department with at least 2 or more sustained use of force incidents on their records. Now, this means there was enough evidence to justify disciplinary action against the officers. Now, local activists today believe that there was enough use of force worthy of discipline during Wednesday's arrest. Now, San Diego Police says that they are having internal affairs investigate the incident, and at last check, they are reviewing the body camera footage, which is what local activists want them to release to the public. Live in La Jolla, Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Nate. Homeless advocates also reacting to that video. The statement is from Deacon Jim Vargas of Father Joe's Villages. He said in part, quote, "Father Joe's Villages are deeply troubled by this video. It is a clear illustration of several broken systems and a stark and distressing reminder of the insufficient resources available to those on our streets. From the failure to provide the basic dignity of public restrooms to the urgent need for a more compassionate, effective, and comprehensive response to those suffering from mental illness, San Diego can and must do better."